Before we get started, are there any questions over the homework? Any of the problems that y'all want to look at? If there's no question over the homework, what we're starting today is writing equations of lines, finding the equation of a line, interpreting slope, and finding some additional information. Now, there's two main ways that we write equations of a line. It's either in point-slope form or slope-intercept form. Now, we use point-slope form if we're given a point and the slope. Because if we're given the point and the slope, we plug in the point in x1, y1, plug the slope in for m, and then we rewrite it in slope-intercept form. We want to get y by itself. Slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, we're used to using that. You did a lot of that, especially in Algebra 1, writing the equation of a line. And I do find the way that we named both these kind of interesting, because we called y equals mx plus b slope-intercept form, mainly because m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So it's actually named exactly what it is. It's slope-intercept form. Two main parts are slope and intercept. Point-slope form. We call it point-slope form because it has a point and the slope. X and y are dependent and independent variables, so they will always be in there. Now, in some cases, we are given 2 points. And if we are given 2 points, we want to use the slope formula. Slope y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We're going to use this formula here to be able to find the slope. And we will use it to find the slope, use one of the 2 points that's given to us with point-slope form to be able to find the actual equation of the line. Now, there is such thing as 2-point form. I wouldn't write this down. It's not very useful. Well, it's not that it's not useful. Essentially, all they did was take slope point form and just replace slope with that equation. If we're given 2 points, we might as well just find the slope and use point-slope form. There's not a whole lot of reason to use this form. So let's actually work on finding the equations of some lines. So the first problem we have here, the graph shows the distance asteroid 2012 DA14 travels in x seconds. Write an equation of a line and interpret the slope. The asteroid came within 17,200 miles of Earth in February 2013. About how long does it take the asteroid to travel that distance? So it did ask us 3 things. We're going to try to do 3 things. 1, we need the equation of a line. 2, we need to interpret the slope. And 3, we need to figure out how long it takes the asteroid to travel 17,200 miles. 3 things we need to answer. So the first thing we're going to need to do is we do need to find the equation of the line. But to do that, we really need to figure out what the slope is. Slope, our m.
May I have your attention, please? There'll be no Hornet X in the high school cafeteria after school today. Thank you.
So to find the slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So now we need to plug points in. What is one of our y values that was given to us? 24. Since we plugged it in first, we need to plug its corresponding x value in first, which is 5. Because 5, 24 is one of the points they gave us. What is the other point? 0, 0, 0. It does intersect the x and y axis at the point 0, 0. Two ways we can go from here. One, we can calculate this by hand. 24 minus 0. 24. 5 minus 0. 5. 24 over 5 does not reduce nicely, so it tells us that our slope, 24 fifths. Other way we can do this. Let's see here. Something quick. 24 minus 0 over 5 minus 0. We can just plug it in, and it'll still tell us that it's 24 fifths. So, we did find the slope. And we needed that to find the equation of a line. We also needed to interpret the slope. Now, interpreting the slope or interpreting anything, especially with equation of lines or the different things we're doing here, is really just saying, turn the slope into words. What is it telling us in words? So 24 fifths, 24 over 5. 24 is our y, our change in y. 5 is our change in x. And according to the chart, x is time in seconds. Y is our distance in miles. So we could say for every 5 seconds, it travels how far? 24 miles. All we're doing is saying, what does the slope tell us? We could also have said it travels 24 miles every 5 seconds. That's also the same thing, yes? 24 over 5 is 4.8. It travels 4.8 miles every second. It takes it 1 second to travel 4.8 miles. For every 10 seconds, it travels 48 miles. Is that still saying the same thing? And again, with these here, for interpreting the slope, as long as you are describing the slope, what it is actually saying, it is still the correct answer. I am not looking for exact words. Do you describe what the slope says? If you do, it's correct. Okay? However, we could not say for every 24 seconds it travels 5 miles. We switched our units. Any questions on how we interpreted the slope here? We good with this here so far? Second thing we need to do is find the equation of a line. Now, finding the equation of a line, we have two different ways we can find it. One of them is point slope, and the other is slope intercept. The main way I determine which one of these two starting equations that we use is based off what we're given. Now, we do know the slope, so either one works there. Are we given the y-intercept? Do we know what the y-intercept is? What is the y-intercept? 0. 0, 0 is 0.00. So we know what the value of b is. It has to be 0. So since I know what the y-intercept is, we're going to just use point or slope-intercept form. Because we can replace m with the slope, which is 24 fifths, and we replace b with its value of 0. Do we actually need the plus 0? No, it doesn't add anything. So really, the equation is just y equals 24 fifths x. Questions on this here? Questions on interpreting the slope or finding the equation? Did we answer all of the questions? How long does it take the asteroid to travel that distance? So we need to use the equation to figure out how long it takes the asteroid to travel 17,200 miles. 17,200, are we going to plug it in for x or in for y? Why? Because that is our distance. So we're saying that 17,200 is equal to 24/5 times x. We need to solve for x. What can we do first? (24/5) and x. Are they being added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided? Multiplied. So to undo multiplication, we divide both sides by 24/5. 24/5 divided by 24/5. Anything divided by itself is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. (24/5) over 24/5. All right, guys, is 1. That means we also have to take 17,200 and divide it by 24/5. And if we do, we get 3,583.3 repeated. We'll just round to 3,583. And that would be 3,583 seconds. It takes it 3,583 seconds to travel 17,200 miles. That is almost 1 hour. It's 17 seconds short. Because if we divide it by 60, we would get minutes. And if we divide it by 60 again, we get hours. So it's 0.99 hours. It's almost 1 hour. Questions on this here? So we did answer all three now. We've interpreted the slope, we found the equation of the line, and we found out it takes 3,583 seconds for it to travel 17,200 miles. Questions on this here? Let's look at the next one. We are given this graph. The graph shows the remaining balance Y on a car loan after making X monthly payments. Write an equation of the line and interpret the slope and y-intercept. So we need to describe the slope and y-intercept. And then we need to figure out what the remaining balance is after 36 payments. Again, it might be good to know what the slope is first because we are going to need to interpret it. And we need it for the equation. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. What y value do we want to use first? 18 minus 15. Since we used 18 first, its x value has to go first. Which would be 0 minus 10. Now we can do this by hand. 18 minus 15 is 0 minus 10. So we get the slope as negative 3/10. Either way, we still get negative 3/10. So we know the slope is negative 3/10. We're here. Questions on how we found slope? Now we need to interpret the slope. Now, the two things that they were given to us, the x-axis is our payments, the y value is the balance. So we could say what? For every 10 payments, the balance does what? Decreases, goes down. By $3? 3,000. Where do we get the 1,000 from? Yeah. Because the table chart told us it was in thousands of dollars. So we wouldn't necessarily say the balance negative 3,000. It's going to be going down. We're going to describe the negative in terms of words because it's going to make more sense. The balance decreases, or we're going to say decreases. There's not a good way to say negative 3,000. We're just going to say decreases by 3,000. It seems like a lot, but when we're talking about this here, so really month to month, it's only $300. 3/10 by 1,000 would be 3,000 over 10 or $300. So for each month, the payment or the balance goes down by $300, decreases $300 each month. We get this here. Now we also have to describe the y-intercept. What is our y-intercept? Because it's the y value of the y-intercept is 18. The y-intercept itself is the 0.018. But what does that tell us? So 0.18 is the y-intercept, yes? X would be the number of payments. Well, how many payments have we made at that point? 0. So really, what is it telling us? It started out at 18,000. After 0 payments, the balance is 18,000. Or we can say that the starting amount, the beginning balance, is $18,000. Which at one point could get you a very nice or a decent new car. Now you can get a decent used car. Times have changed. Questions on interpreting the slope or interpreting the y-intercept? Now we need to find the equation of the line, yes? Do we have the y-intercept? Do we know what the value of the y-intercept is? Yeah, we just had what it was, 18, yes? So, since we have the slope and y-intercept, might as well start out with our y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, so our negative 3/10, and b is 18, so y equals negative 3/10 x plus 18. Questions on this here? So we have our equation. The last thing we need to do is find what? The remaining balance after 36 payments. Our 36 for the number of payments, would it go in place of x or y? X, because x is our number of payments, yes? So y equals negative 3/10 times 36 plus 18. And we're trying to solve for the value of y, yes? We're trying to find the value of y. Is y by itself? Yeah, it's over there on the left side. By itself. The right-hand side, is there a variable anywhere in this? No. So we could go negative 3/10, 36 plus 18. So our remaining balance is 36/5 in thousands of dollars. Might be better to just have it as a decimal, yes? 7.2. So y is equal to 7.2, or we would say $7,200. Is the remaining balance after 36 months? After 3 years? Questions on this here? Be ready for the next one. The graph shows the distance Allison hikes in X hours. Write an equation of the line, interpret the slope, and then figure out how long it takes her to travel 14 miles. Traveling at the same rate. Yeah. Slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Rise over run. Well, what's one of the points we have? 7, 24.5. What's the other one? 0, 0. So we can go 24.5 minus 0 over 7 minus 0. If I look at this here, the rise and run, we've got a run of 7 and a rise of 24.5. Rise over run. So we could just say 24.5 over 7, yes? There's different ways to get to it. However, we cannot leave the slope as 24.5 over 7. Why? And a fraction. We can't have a decimal and fraction in the same thing. We have to have one or the other. So 25 or 24.5 over 7, we can say is 3 halves, 3.5, or 7 halves. At this point, it really doesn't matter which one we have or which one we use. What do we want to do? Fraction or decimal? Decimal? Yeah, we can write it as a decimal. So the slope is 3.5. If you want to write it as a fraction, write it as a fraction. If you want to write it as a decimal, write it as a decimal. Because fractions would be nicer if, especially we're graphing, it gives us the rise over run up 7 over 2. Or if we leave it as a decimal, it's kind of sometimes works nicer with some of our numbers. So we have the slope, let's interpret it. What is it telling us? So with 3.5, she travels 3.5 miles every, what? Minute? Or not a minute. What are we talking about? Hours. I was like, man, that'd have been nice. Or that'd be fast. That'd be a really fast walk. 3.5 miles every hour. Do we know what the y-intercept is? Yeah, what is the y-intercept? 0. So we can use our y equals mx plus b. Slope is 3.5 and the value b is 0. Do we need the plus 0? So y equals 3.5x. Yes? Okay. What is the last thing we need to figure out? How long did it take her to walk 14 miles? Does anybody have a guess? So, the 14, is it going in place of x or y? So 14 is equal to 3.5x. What do we need to do? Both sides by 3.5. 3.5x divided by 3.5 will be just be x. 14 divided by 3.5 is 4. Interestingly enough, our fraction was 7/2, yes? For every 2 hours it takes her, she walks 7 miles. So for every 4 hours, she would walk 14. Four hours. Questions on this here? Question on anything we've done so far? All right. I know we have a decent bit of time left because we got, what, 17 minutes? I'll give you the rest of the time to work on your assignment. We'll finish this Monday.